Thank you for taking the next few minutes to view and listen to this short video on what could be a little different approach or thought process to your farm's water management issues. We know farmers whom have already taken actions in the water management practice of subsurface drainage. Some have systematic systems in place and others have select drainage for problem areas. And there are still those of us just taking the chances on what Mother Nature does to us year after year. Even for those farms with a little more rolling soil type environments have drainage issues. Have you seen stunted yellowing corn or soybeans during the early growing season? Watch your yield monitor this fall and we bet when the yield drops you'll catch yourself saying, "Oh yeah, that is a small wet hole of the field." Can't be the seed selection because everything next to it yielded well, and it probably isn't fertility because again the soil around it was fertilized the same. Well, after 4 of the last 5 years of replanting crops in the same areas on our farm, we finally said enough is enough and had a professionally systematic tile plan developed. We thought we were at least on the right track for solving our drainage problem by having a subsurface tile plan. Then when time and financing permits, we could begin installation. Now the winter snow began to melt and the spring rain seemed to never quit, so we have what looks like a creek dividing the farm and small ponds dotting the fields. We asked the professionals to come take a look and tell us if the new tile system design would take care of our current water issues. This is when we were informed bigger mains could be installed to account for our neighbor's surface water running onto us, or we could develop some sort of surface drainage plan. So okay, how is surface drainage or waterways conducted on what is considered flat country? It is either via the traditional dirt pan, dozer, and/or grader. But what some have done in other areas is use a dirt blowing machine. These machines can do the job in about half the time. You don't have to find places to put removed dirt, and the compaction from the use of the other previously mentioned equipment is non-existent. We still weren't quite sure what was being considered a dirt blowing machine, so we confided with Mr. Google on the internet. It was through our search about drainage that we connected with John Wagner, founder of Ag Resource Planning, who has a long history and working relationship with AMW Machine Controls and Delta Data Systems Incorporated. AMW and DDS are companies with the most experience in 3D machine controls and high-resolution GIS data processing as it applies to agriculture. John himself has more than 20-plus years of experience collecting water management data while working with an agronomy company as it applies to soil fertility, yield, and variable rate seeding to benefit the farmer. John also is a dealer of various water management equipment and is one of the original pioneers of RTK precision guidance technology, used now not only here in the United States but across the world. After several phone conversations and personal meetings with John discussing our farm water issues, John agreed that surface drainage needs to work with subsurface drainage, or vice versa, in order to maximize yield potential. John's collection of data indicates field edges and old fence rows are some areas where production levels typically drop off because they typically hold water on one side or the other. You can validate this especially after the 2014 crop year. How often did you see standing water near a ditch or waterway? Relief can be made with the use of a simple surface drain to a nearby ditch or waterway. We'll refer to these barren or poor yellowing crop areas are a result of earthly depressions. These depressions or ponding areas on our farm are typically our best black, higher yielding potential soils, and most of them already have some sort of surface drainage underneath them. We are told the possible reasoning for our continual ponding in these depression areas is that ponding water is weight. Weight on top of the soil causes compaction. Compaction forces air out of the soil, and beneficial soil life and crop roots need air in order to grow. Combine all of this year after year and those depressions become slightly larger over time and diminish yields, if we have any yields at all. Compaction can also reduce or deplete water infiltration getting down into the existing tile. The best tool we ever bought for our farm was a DMI ripper. That helped most of our soils, but timing is very critical for use in depressional wet pockets to benefit. We've even tried no-till practices and even experimented with cover crops as a means to resolve our water issues. Our approach to water management going forward is very simple. Use whatever current excavating equipment is available to assure field capacity in the least amount of time for the most economical return to fit our given situation. With the use of current field data imagery and advanced technology, we can incorporate traditional water management techniques from growers in the southern and western states to control surface water, and incorporate the traditional drainage equipment from the growers in the eastern and Midwest states using subsurface tiling techniques from resources of AgriPlan. Therefore, the belief and supporting data suggests that for maximum water management control, a grower needs both surface and subsurface drainage working together using the best available equipment and precision technology available today with room for growth. The basic rule to water management when done correctly is to never let surface water into the subsurface tile system. Therefore, when your soil has reached its saturation point, surface water starts leaving the field via ditch, grass waterway, or by an enhanced farmable water flow channel. It is really simple. Standing water will destroy a crop and moving water does not. A properly designed surface drain can eliminate surface water in a matter of hours rather than days. Have you ever seen standing water in your fields? When done correctly, flow channels have little if any erosion when using minimal slope just to get the surface water to flow rather than stand in the field. Natural soil contour lines of the water flow path does not allow the water to pick up velocity, which is a common cause of erosion. Surface drainage in the form of farmable flow channels can be implemented for about 1/4 to 1/3 of the cost of subsurface drainage. If your budget is tight, but you know you need to do some form of drainage and/or your subsurface contractor is backed up with work, why not start with surface drainage to get your immediate water relief? Does this mean your saturated soils will dry out any quicker? Well, yes and no. During heavy rains or long periods of rainfall, surface water will be flowing, but whatever current subsurface drainage you have will continue to work at the same rate as installed. However, your current subsurface drainage will not be needed to carry the load of surface water, reducing soil dry down time. Our goal with John's help is to establish enhanced natural and farmable water flow channels to drain the pockets or depression areas in our fields which has caused delayed planting and harvest times, which has robbed us of higher yielding crop averages. All the farm magazine experts are predicting smaller farm profit margins. Therefore, every inch of soil on our farm needs to be producing to capacity. Just becoming a larger farm operator isn't going to reduce input costs per acre alone. John Fulton of Auburn University Extension recently stated that there will be another 2 billion people by 2050. Farmers will need to grow 70% more food than today. Farmers here and abroad will need every technology at their disposal to feed the world. Technology is and always will be one of the drivers to higher agriculture productivity. Precision technology is expected to contribute 30% of crop production growth required to feed the world by 2050. The first step in a water management plan is to have a topography map made of the field, farm, or entire watershed area. The topo map can identify the low-hanging type fruit that can be corrected, usually at the least amount of cost. Look at the watershed map of our farm. Proper advanced computer software and data systems can compose elevation, contours, macro and micro flow paths, and locate field depression areas with precision. The red and yellow areas are where water runs from, the higher ground. The green is where the water runs through, and the blue is where the water collects and drains from, the bottom ground or the depressions. Dark blue areas are high-intensity areas of water concentration or water pockets. The path of least resistance is to follow the contoured natural flows cutting to depressional lows and holding grade. By following the natural flow using vertical curve technology, we intend to just knock off the bumps rather than cutting a new channel. Many areas in the flow path are already perfectly graded. You will find places whereby removing the bumps surface water will start to flow. A minimum amount of soil moved equals surface drainage success. When used properly, these natural and farmable surface flow channels will only be visible when water is in them and flowing. No-till farmers can farm right through the channels like nothing was there. We would suggest conventional tillage users to lift over them or till parallel with the flow channels to preserve shape for its many years of use going forward. AgriPlan specializes in composing data services designed to increase yields in the best areas of your fields and to decrease input costs where yields are not giving a return on investment. We decided to take the initiative and make a substantial investment in a Wolverine Extreme dirt blower for our initial farm drainage issues. We also believe there are more farms than our own that have surface water issues. Therefore, Precision Soil Solutions will make the machine available for contract work to other farmers. Again, experts claim 2 billion more mouths will need to be fed by the year 2050, having a need for higher yielding crops. Farm margin of profits will be on the decline, meaning we need to become more efficient with every inch of land. We hope to fine-tune our water management practices for higher yielding potential averages and get started with our farm drainage needs as soon as harvest begins. Our ultimate goal is to maximize the productivity of every acre and every field while optimizing the use of inputs and our natural resources. If you have any further questions or comments, we will gladly take your calls at any time and answer them the best we can. The concept is rather simplistic. Having the correct tooling and technology all put together is the more difficult task. Please call Dennis Watson at 937-728-0980 or Evan Watson at 937-673-2704. Or you could contact us at precisionsoilsolutions@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook at Precision Soil Solutions. Thanks again for your time and listening to our story.